Welcome everyone. We will be starting here shortly. Let's see here. All right. Today is a good day. We will be having a special guest join us in a little bit. And in the meantime, we will continue to work on this board for the Goblin Pie Caper one-shot that's going to be ran in about 2 weeks on Sunday, November 2nd. All right. Let's go ahead and we will transition here in just a minute to the video. Just some final touch-ups as we get ready. All right, and we will go ahead and hop right into it. All right, welcome to Disorderly Dice. We have the table in front of us, or the board in front of us, that we will be working on, and going from there. So last time, remember, we started with importing this board into here. We did use some different resources. Let me go ahead and pop those up. There are other resources as well. Might run across some of those tonight, but let me go ahead and, oh, wrong thing there. Pop up these resources. Let me see here. All right, so let's just go ahead and throw these over here on the main screen there for you. So one of them you can see right here is Tales Bazaar. That one has lots of different boards, not minis, but boards or slabs or different items in there to explore. Same with this here, Tales Tavern. and just some different resources in here, some assets, some boards, some slabs. So that's where we got our current board, at least the general build of it. And then from there, there's been some customization to it that we'll go over some of that. But we'll also do a recap of what we covered last time as well. So part of what we covered last time, we went over some board create, well, the import itself, correct? And then let me just go ahead and move over to the board here. We talked about sometimes it might be worth just splitting the board in half, whether that's at a distance on the same board. Now, remember, so we got over here the boards, right? Imported the slab in here, and then perhaps you want it on two different boards, or just at a distance, or in this case, it's just one area. Now you'll see how I organize that. Clear divide right here, right? Last time also we had a building over here, actually right there. So that's been taken out, and you'll see what I did in this area to accommodate for that as we move into that build. Last time we also explored a couple functions within Tailspire that helps you navigate it a little bit quicker. One of those, right? So if we hit that tab key, one of those is the place marker block as well as the atmosphere block. Right, so we can see here, here's a marker block. So when we place that marker block, left click, right click, and we can, we can convert it to a bookmark. You'll see how I use those in the recap. You can delete it, and you can also fetch all players. So if each of your players has control of their mini, you can fetch all the players to that area. Converting it to a bookmark, I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. These here are already converted to a bookmark, and then you can rename it as well. Now the way bookmarks are helpful is within this village we have these bookmarks. So when you're here and the main part of the story is taking place and you need to transition to that next spot and the journey is not part of the story, they're just going to arrive there, right? That fast travel. Then you can have it ready. You're going to go ahead, pop it open, and bring them to the correct bookmark, the hunt. Boom, now we're here. Now notice where we're at. We're at the divide of that board. And if they need to go back to the hamlet, there we go. And then the hunt, and here we are. Now at the same time, right, we also explore those unique characters. So if we have our unique characters all listed over here, you can just grab it, and there you go. Now if you grab it again, and you say, well, what if I place it too many times? You can't. It will just move it. So that's a great function that way to be able to then just move it over. Likewise, let's go back to the hamlet. Now, this dwarf is not over here. He was right here, and we're just going to go ahead and click him again, and now he's back. So that way, as you're moving throughout your boards, you don't have to drag them along for long periods of time. You can just simply open up your uniques right here, grab that mini, and place it down, and close your... So you have two different side menus, right? Because you don't need to keep this one open either, right? But if you want to have it open and go to the hunt, right? And then you can go ahead and close that with... Go ahead and close that. Open up your unique characters. And you want to bring these four because these four decided to come this way. And close it. Now notice this one has the torch on. It had the torch on previously. It has it on again. Or any other stats that you assign to it will stay with it. All right. So we explored both the marker block as well as the atmosphere. Now the atmosphere blocks, notice I don't have one in here, but if we go back to the board and go back to the hamlet, well, here I do have one, right? And so right click and apply. Likewise, up here, I have another one. So this is capturing those atmosphere settings. So you don't have to go back and change them all the time. You can just very easily click tab, right click, apply. Very little immersion breaking there. For the sake of this, I am going to turn down the ambiance. There we go. And that is those, how to navigate them, how to set them. The unique characters, that's just about going into your GM tools. Player permission. Now, if you have players who are controlling their own minis, you would then assign it to that individual. In this case, I'm assigning it to myself and then making it unique. Right, so with these individuals back here, for that GM tool, player permission, I've already, oh, that's not one of them. Let's bring them back. Right, so again, it doesn't matter if I click the wrong person because it'll just pop over. This one, nope, that one's right there. This one, there we go. Now they're all back. All right, so GM tool, player permissions already set on me. Rename, that's renaming the mini. Make it not unique, that would say make unique. And then they just automatically appear in this menu. Now, depends on how you're playing. If you're streaming, you may or may not want to leave these menus open because it just clogs the screen. Or maybe it's quick access, so you can very quickly, you can just have your boards, you can have your uniques, hit that space bar and drop it back down. Let me make sure I have this up. There we go. All right. So that's your uniques, your atmosphere settings, right? Your markers, your bookmarks. And then I didn't show this last time, but of course you can right click and hide a character. And so when you're on tab, it's gone, right? Well, how do you find it? How do you bring it back? Tab, right click, reveal, and it's back. Now, if you are trying to hide minis from your players, be sure that you don't reveal them by mistake, right? Because all your minis are going to show up. So if you have a big giant in there or something like that, it's going to be very obvious because of the size of that mini, right? So if I have monstrous, if I have a dragon in here, or yeah, a dragon in here, and I have that hidden, you can see it already, right? Now I go like this. If my players have a view of this screen, well then they're going to see that, right? So just be mindful of that. And maybe that doesn't matter or does matter for your group, right? Actually might be a fun little, I also like that. That there's a click, like you're placing it, that there's a shake of the board, but maybe this is just a fun statue to have as part of the festival, right? And even if you then illuminate it, right, what's that look like when you then change that atmosphere? And there's your dragon. So you can do a lot of different things. Just because it's a mini doesn't mean it has to be a mini, right? Maybe it's a statue. So let's go ahead, reset, apply. And again, I'm just going to go to the atmosphere settings and bring down that ambiance. We're going to close this down. You see how it can get crowded real easy. So I just applied it. It's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to edit. I wanted to bring down the ambiance that way. Save. Now it's been saved to that atmosphere block. But even outside of that, I just want it down for the sake of the stream. So then we'll close it. Or we can hit the spacebar and close all of those menu options. Right? So we have those set up. We have our bookmarks set up so we can just quickly get to an area. Let's go back to the Hamlet. And we're going to come back over here because one other area that we covered last week, we covered the Fog of War. We were touching on it at the very end. And I wanted to bring it back up today because I did look into it again. And I actually figured out how that works. Oh, I did that again. All right. And what it is up here on the top left, you see this option over here. You can turn it on. You see around the mini here how it gets gray. So this is all for all of your unique characters. Now remember, I made these unique minis, unique creatures. But then the on and off is right here. Okay. Now if we take one of these, I think this is one of the uniques. How do we know? Okay, it's not. All right. But now you see as the mini moves, that area becomes visible. Now this is from the DM view, so of course I can see more. Let's bring this mini back. Okay. Now if we right click on it and GM tools. Now in here you can use the little ball or you can just type in there, click on it, type the number you want. So it's out 60 feet. But of course, you could go a lot further than that. Maybe you want it to be 300 feet. Oh, I don't think I actually set that. GM tool. Actually decreased it. 300. $300 is not an option. 70 maybe? So this is why I don't use the... There we go. That's why I use the numbers. Okay, so you see his vision is now a lot further than the rest of them, right? But that's why I also don't use that ball. So we're going to go with 60 again, hit enter. Maybe that's what I was doing wrong. 300, hit enter. It's not taking, it's taking it down. 60. There we go. And let's bring that one back. Now another little trick that I like to use is causing minis to be motion, have motion. All right, so when they have motion, a way to show that is like this. Right? So we have the adventurers, they're going to arrive, they have to check into this event. It's this pie eating contest event in this halfling village, or hamlet, right? And it looks like the mini's moving. Really, I have the fly feature on, right? So clicking fly or right clicking, disable fly, right click, enable fly. But from this side, it looks like you have a moving mini. So it's another nice feature that way as well. All right. We do have just a little bit longer before our guest joins us and goes over some really helpful content that I'm actually very much looking forward to. Here we go. All right. Now, let's go ahead and just remove this. There we go. And over here, a couple things that I want to point out. Hey, Bantalord, thank you for lurking. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. There we go. All right, so I actually deleted this out, and I built this out a little bit. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take our view over here. We're going to cut this down. Now you can see the layers, right? Now that layers also depends on where I am positionally. And so I actually want this up just enough to take that grass off. And now as I move, it's also a form then of that fog of war. So I want to come in. Maybe I have it specifically angled. I can also lock this into place, right? And now it's removing to that layer within the game. All right, now, then I can move through. I can back up, right? So I created some tunnels within here. I simply grabbed the blocks and made the walls, right? In the mapping of it, there's an entrance there, an entrance there. And that's it for the entrances. You can see I have some minis in here, right? And so in here, this one will lead out. It just goes back around. This one is a dead end. And this one leads into here, dead end. And here, they have to keep going this way, make it through there. That's a dead end in there. You can see this is its own chamber room. This leads around, comes through there, big opening over on that side. And then we have a staircase on this side. So that just comes down to finding those right blocks, putting them in place so that you can see what's where. All right, and looks like we have our guest with us. So we'll go into that, and either tonight or next week, we'll go ahead and add the hideout on top so that we can see how you can simply carry an object even from another board you have to the current board that you have. So let's go ahead and bring in Lord Ashes. All right, it looks like he is joining in, and then I'll fix the screens. Are you able to hear us? Hear me? Looks like you're muted.
Yes, I am able to hear.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, do you prefer to go by Lord Ashes or another?
Ashes or Ash, either one.
All right.
It's not a real name, obviously.
Yes,
but,
yes, yes.
I don't advertise, even though it's not really a secret. I don't advertise my real name.
Absolutely. Well, we'll go with Ashes or Ash. I don't know. I'll figure it out during the stream since you said either one works.
Either one works.
All right. So, if you would like to give a brief introduction, kind of what you do and the niche that you're in, and I'm super excited because this is somewhat of an area that kind of that cliche of a statement, right? Where I know enough to get myself in trouble.
Right.
Is really where I sit with any kind of plugin or modification, or I was always that person hesitant because it's like, what am I going to mess up? So I'm actually super excited for this. And I've been using a lot of your plugins for years. So
Good.
Even
good.
more excited because I get to meet the person who's been helping me so much.
Okay, well, yeah, so I'm Lord Ashes. I started back with the Tailspire pretty well, I think, as when it came out. And then myself and another gentleman by the handle of Hollow or Hollow Fox, we started to do a bunch of plugins because Tailspire was in early access. A lot of features were still missing. They kind of still are, but so yeah, so we started to just create more plugins for Tailspire to improve the Tailspire experience, and it's been a long ride. We have lots of plugins. Hollow is not as active anymore, so most of the plugins that you'll come across are probably my my plugins, but there are a few again by Hollow and even a few other content developers. But most of them are mine. So if they're not working, it's probably my fault.
So
um,
that or just computer system updates, right? That seems to always catch me.
exactly. We'll get into that, but yes, uh, Bouncy Rock updates are the bane of plugins because yes, plugins are unofficial.
Mm,
Bouncy Rock does unofficially support our modding endeavors, but again, because it's not core code,
yeah.
that means when they update something, it's very possible that it will break plugins. Sometimes a few, and sometimes if it hits one of our main plugins, then almost all of them go down.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you, well, like, what got you into this? Like, what got you into mods or coding or this?
Oh, I've been um, doing various forms of programming since I was a little kid, so
Oh my
it's always been
goodness.
a hobby. Um, so then when Tailspire came along, I also do obviously role playing, so
Mhm.
it seemed like a good fit. It's kind of ironic though because um, when people ask me about various things in Tailspire, lots of times I can't answer because I don't really use Tailspire.
Mm,
I make all the plugins for it. I know enough to like I've run games in it,
yeah.
but right now I don't have a like a weekly game or an ongoing game that's in Tailspire. I used to be part of one, but uh, decided to leave for
Mm,
reasons. So
absolutely.
yeah, so I actually don't really use Tailspire. I just make the plugins for it. Um, but yeah, but anyways, yes, the software interested me when
Yeah.
I saw it, because I'm a role player and
Yep.
seemed like something that I could have fun with. And then somebody else, I think it was Hollow, that kind of got me introduced to making plugins, and then it just snowballed from there.
Awesome. Well, where would you? So we kind of talked beforehand, and I can exit completely out. I could go to the R2. I always forget what it's called, but R2 mod
R2
menu.
Modman.
Where would you like me to go to navigate uh,
Well,
the
I mean,
areas?
I think first we'll kind of do unless you have some other plans. I was going to do a little bit of an intro as to
Absolutely.
what options are available um, leading to plugins. And then yeah, when we start talking about it, I'll get you to go to the various places
Yeah.
that
You
depending
just
on
let me
what we
know,
discover.
and you take the show, and I'm here to help out.
Sounds good. Okay, so should we dive right
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
in? Okay, so I think before we kind of get to plugins, let's talk about what does Tailspire have in terms of custom content.
Okay.
So there are two official ways to support or to add custom content that's supported by Bouncy Rock by Tailspire, and that is your Tailweaver Lite minis and also symbiotes.
Okay.
Okay. Then we have the other end, which is um, asset packs and plugins, and those are all unofficial.
Mm.
So, really, whether or not you need the plugins depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for just adding, static minis to the game, you're better off going with the Tailweaver Lite to add minis that way.
Okay.
Because again, it's official, which means that if Bouncy Rock does updates, it's less likely to break because it's part of their core software, right? Um, Similarly, if you want to do some content that's kind of confined to the symbiote panel, things like having access to Roll20 or D&D Beyond and integrating that,
Mm-hmm.
or some simple character sheets or something like that, then symbiotes is the way to go. Because again, it's official content, so if you make a symbiote, it's less likely to break. But both of those official methods of customization are limited.
Mm.
The Tailweaver Lite, if you want to do anything, if you want to add any minis, they have to be static minis, only one texture, and one mesh.
Mm.
That's kind of the limitation. So if you want to do anything fancy like animations, sound, particle effects, any of that kind of stuff, you can't. So that's where you have to go to the unofficial customization. Similar with symbiotes. Symbiotes, they're kind of confined to that symbiote panel, and the integration into Tailspire is limited to what Bouncy Rock provides in the API. So you can do a lot of stuff with it, but for more advanced customization, again, you need to go to plugins. Okay, so
Right.
that leads us into plugins.
Okay.
I'm going to get the elephant out of the way. I'm going to tell you um, plugins. So again, the unofficial customization, we have two things. We have asset packs,
Yep.
which are similar to just adding minis, but those minis can now have things like animation, sound, particle effects, and all kinds of extra stuff.
Okay.
So we've got those, and then we've got the other thing, which is basically plugins. And plugins modify the existing game to add in lots of other additional features. Okay, so the elephant in the room is when you're running a plugin,
Okay.
you are essentially running software on your own computer.
Hmm.
And that software can do anything. It has access to your computer.
Mm.
So the important thing is if you're running a plugin, you're trusting the person who wrote it. In most cases, that's me. So if you don't trust me, then don't run the plugin.
Because in all reality, you could put whatever, some kind of malware or
I
something
could easily
in there.
make a plugin that goes to your pictures folder,
Right.
grabs all your pictures, and sends it up to Google Docs, right?
Right.
If I wanted
Yep.
to, or sorry, Google Drive.
Yep.
But to alleviate that potential threat, I have stopped putting my plugins on GitHub. At one point, there was this whole issue with um, I'm not going to get into that, but basically, some users um, having issues. So I wanted to take everything off of GitHub and move it all to my own Discord server.
Gotcha.
I didn't end up doing that, but I did remove most of the stuff from GitHub. But I will tell anybody, if you ever are concerned about my plugin and want the source code, just ask. I will gladly give it to you, and that way you can look through it. You can even compile it yourself to make sure that the DLLs are exactly what the source code says, and that way you can have some assurance that there's no malicious code in there.
Gotcha. Well, that's interesting. I actually didn't know. I mean, I think about that anytime I download something, right? If I download an open source document or whatever, even when I'm going to a secure site, because I think it's secure, right? Because if I go to, like, for example, Adobe, and I know it's Adobe, I believe it's Adobe because I don't know if it's duplicated, right? I'm not that techie, so I'm trusting that, but I know the risk is there. I actually never thought about that with plugins until you started talking about it, but it makes complete sense because it's not right because it's not controlled by if you were doing it under the umbrella of Tailspire or
Yeah,
then it would be controlled and it'd be totally secure, right?
correct.
So I never actually thought about that until you said that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if you go to a secure website,
Yeah.
all the secure website is telling you is that it is who they say they are, right?
Yep.
So,
Yep.
example, I'm hosting my own server, and the certificates when anybody goes to my server, it says yes, it's coming from me.
Yep.
That doesn't mean I can't put anything malicious on there.
Right. Right.
But you still gotta trust the source.
Yep.
That the certificates say they are who they are, but you still gotta trust the source, right?
Right.
So yes, that's the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Now that we got that out of the way, so yes, with plugins. Oh, sorry. One other thing I wanted to mention: two official ways to add content, which Tailweaver and Symbiotes. Those will work in ordinary Tailspire. Typically, we call that vanilla Tailspire. That means the Tailspire hasn't been modded at all. So that's another factor because for plugins or asset packs through plugins,
Mm-hmm.
you do need to do the Tailspire modification.
Mm.
It's pretty easy. I'm not going to go through that here, but on the um, unofficial Discord and on my little server, both the tutorial sections there have a video on how to do that, and it's basically a one-time process which sets up your Tailspire to be able to run plugins.
Oh, okay.
And then you would use a mod manager. The one that we typically use is R2 Modman.
Mm-hmm.
There are different ones. There's the Thunderstore mod manager. There's also a Gale and probably others. But most of us are using the R2 Modman. So if you ask for help, usually you'll get responses in terms of R2 Modman.
Okay.
And yeah, with your R2 Modman, you basically can then use either the online tab in R2 Modman, or you can go to tailspire.thunderstore.io to basically pick off the plugins and asset packs that you want. And through R2 Modman, you add them, you can install them, uninstall them, and so on.
Right.
I highly recommend when you are looking for plugins, unless it's a plugin that you already know, and you're just because you reinstalled Tailspire, you're getting it again.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're doing that, I highly recommend going to the tailspire.thunderstore.io webpage and looking at the plugins there, as opposed to the online tab in R2 Modman. And the reason for that is anytime you're looking on the website, you'll immediately kind of see the beginning of the docs, and you can get more information. When you're just looking on the online tab, you get a tiny little brief description that really doesn't tell you much. So I highly recommend going through the web page.
And you said that's Thunderstore, correct?
Yeah, tailspire.thunderstore.io.
That is this here. I believe I pulled up thunderstore.io. Yep, Tailspire.
Yeah, that's the one.
And then, contrary to what you just said, it looks like I should probably change my practice because I've been using that online one. And to your point, like I'd see this really short description, be like, well, what does it actually? So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So the online tab is really good if again, like I said, you've migrated from Windows 10 to 11, you're reinstalling Tailspire, so you want to all the plugins that you were working before.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't export the profile, if you're needing to get those, the online tab is perfectly fine because you already know what you want.
Yep.
But when you're kind of looking for new plugins or trying to see what they do, going through the website is better. You sometimes it'll even have it'll have screenshots there, and it's not so much anymore. But sometimes, especially with plugins, sometimes you'll need to do a little bit of configuration for the plugin to be able to do its thing.
Okay.
And the documentation will tell you that. So that's why I always recommend going that route.
Okay.
Right. So I think what we wanted to kind of cover here today was with these plugins, when things go wrong, and we've already said, with the Bouncy Rock update or Tailspire update, the plugins can break, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So what do you do when the plugin isn't working? So that's kind of what I'd like to discuss today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's a lot of users that don't listen to this advice, and it just causes problems. So my first advice would be, when you're adding plugins, don't go to the site, download 25 plugins, and fire up Tailspire.
I've never done that ever.
I have seen users that do that, and then something doesn't work, and they've got no idea what, because a lot of times when one plugin doesn't work, it might not be obvious which plugin it is, and it can take down the functionality of other plugins. Right? So I always recommend add a plugin at a time. Mm-hmm. When you add a plugin, it'll download the dependencies, so you'll get a few. But yeah, kind of add them one at a time. Try it, make sure it's working, and then go on to the next one. Mm-hmm. Because that way, if suddenly you add a plugin and it doesn't work,
You
you
know
know
exactly which one it
that's the
was.
one that caused it,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So that's my first advice. My second advice would be, I mean, on the Discord, there's lots of people. I'm there lots of times,
Hmm.
but there's other people that are also knowledgeable that can help. But I think it's a good idea for people to, um, kind of do the first line of investigation,
Hmm.
because that can then help, anybody who's then going to help you further, and it'll get things resolved quickly, right?
Right. Right.
So both on my Discord server and the unofficial Tailspire one, in the
So
tutorial section.
are these
Yep.
two? I believe I'm in both of these. One is Tailspire modding, and the other is Tailspire Bouncy Rock. Is that the two that you're referring to?
Now, the Tailspire modding
Yep.
is the unofficial one.
Okay.
What was the other one that you said?
Tailspire modding or Bouncy
Yeah.
Rock.
I think the Bouncy Rock is like the official
Okay.
site. So if you have any questions about like the core Tailspire,
Hmm.
it's always better to ask on the official site.
Okay.
If you have any questions about mods, do
Mm.
not ask on the official site. Ask on the unofficial site because um, theoretically, Bouncy Rock can't
Actually,
officially
yeah.
support us, right?
Right.
Because we are hacking their code. um, so yeah, and then the one I was referring to is I can
Yeah,
after
if
this
you
I
want
can
to.
send you an invite. I've basically created a little Discord server of my own
Hmm.
where I mostly help with plugins, and um, it's very much like the unofficial website, except I've got a few extra rules of like conduct,
Mm.
like when you're making a support request, putting in the necessary information
Mm.
and things like that. So basically, if users agree to that, they get my sort of first preference when I'm helping resolve stuff.
Nice.
So usually it's anybody who asks on my Discord, they get first assistance, and then if there's nobody there, then I'll help on the other site.
Oh, awesome.
Um, yeah, so again, on both my site and the unofficial site,
Hmm.
in the tutorial section, there is a post on how to get your log file. I don't know if you've got a Windows Explorer up. If you go to um, %, app data %.
Am I? I'm sorry. Am I going to the like a
Just like
browser?
Windows Explorer.
Okay. Oops.
If you put that in, I'll navigate you to. Again, it's there in a post, so anybody who's listening to this doesn't need to jot this down because they can always access
Yeah.
it there. But it's no, not a browser like
Not a browser.
like a your file
Like a
explorer or
run.
whatever you happen to be using.
So this is where I start to, unfortunately, disconnect from the techie. This is where I,
Yeah,
I lose. Are you talking like a run file?
like Windows Explorer, like the little yellow folder symbol that you had there. Open up your taskbar again.
Okay. Oh, that's
I'm
why
not
I
seeing
can't
it.
see it. Yep. Why can't I get that
Yeah, so the yellow folder right beside your
Oh,
search.
gotcha.
Yeah. So now in the quick access up there in the address bar, if you type %app data %, no, like %,
Oh, gotcha. Sorry about that. App
yeah, app data, APPDATA, and one more %.
and
Yeah.
enter. There we go.
Okay. So now from here we need to move one folder out. So up in the quick bar, go out of roaming back into app data.
Out
Uh,
of right
at,
here.
at the top. No, yeah, well, you can do it there too. Yes, sure. And then you want to local low.
Local low.
Yeah. Bounty Rock Entertainment and Tailspire.
Okay.
So here you'll see that there is a um, you're hiding your extensions, but there's a player.log and player-previous.log files. Files.
I'm
Two
sorry.
down, three down. There you go. So the player.log file is the log for the last session that you played in Tailspire,
Okay.
and the player-previous is the one before that.
Hmm.
So it basically keeps your last two sessions. If you open that up in a totally regular editor,
Mm-hmm.
like a notepad in a pinch will work, then that basically has a lot of information. Okay. Um,
Yes.
I will tell you that in this file, the only personal information that's in there is the processor that your computer is
Mm.
using.
Okay.
There's no other, um, and obviously the list of plugins that you're using.
Right.
But like there's no identification or anything like that. So this file is safe to
Okay.
share with others when you're trying to get help.
Okay.
Okay. So my suggestion is if a plugin's not working,
Mm-hmm.
and usually there's two ways you can see that a plugin is not working. One, if it's supposed to do some functionality and it doesn't, then obviously it's not working.
Right.
Or if you get in the top left-hand corner of the screen, if you get that red exclamation mark while running
Yep.
in Tailspire, that's also telling you that there's a problem. So if you go to this, yes, lots of this stuff.
Yep.
There's logs in there from the plugins. There's logs in there from Tailspire, and even I like half the stuff that's in there I don't understand because it's Tailspire stuff. But usually what I'll do is I'll search for the word exception because normally if a plugin fails, it usually throws an exception. So
Okay.
looking for the keyword, doing a search like Control F, right, and searching for the word exception, um, will usually tell you. I mean, not always, right?
Right.
But um, most of the times it'll be somewhere in the log,
Yep.
and then under that exception, you can usually kind of find it'll have like what they call the stake stack trace,
Yep.
which gives you a little bit of information of where it had a problem, and if you're lucky, that will identify the plugin that caused the exception.
Gotcha.
Okay. So doing that has two benefits. One,
Okay.
if you don't know which plugin it was that failed, this can tell you
Which one
this,
it
this can
was?
help you locate that, right? And that way you can remove that plugin. Like if you're, if you're supposed to have a session and suddenly you can't start Tailspire because a plugin is broken, you can find out which it is, uninstall it or disable it, and then hopefully your session you won't have that plugin, but at least you can get your session going, right? So that's one benefit. And then the other benefit is that once you go to ask for help in fixing it or addressing, it's going to help us because you've already identified what plugin
Right.
it is, right? So otherwise, I have to do the exact same thing: get your log file and go in there and find it.
Right.
Okay.
And that's what you're talking about with that kind of courtesy part, right? Is like, here's the information you need. I just need to give that to you to begin
Exactly.
with.
So that's exactly what I'm segueing into. I get a lot of times, a user says, this and this plugin. Oh, you got red.
That's why I purposely went. So I was in the vanilla mode before.
Oh, I see.
So that's why I was exiting and trying to get back into this one because, yes, there's
Okay, well,
issues here.
we can have a look then. But anyway, to finish what I was saying,
Yep.
so you get a user that let's say, I don't know, it's the Room View plugin. So they come and say the Room View plugin doesn't work,
Right.
and that's it. So I'm like, well, you know, I know that sometimes it can appear that these plugins are magical, but we're not mind readers. So,
Right.
you know, the more information you can provide me,
Mm-hmm.
better chance I'm going to want to help you and be able to help you, right? If somebody just tells me it doesn't work, I know I'm going to have to do a lot of work
Yep.
to figure things out. So then it's probably going to be a while before I get to you, right?
Right.
If you, on the other hand, tell me, this plugin doesn't work. This is what I've tried.
Yep.
This is what I expect should happen.
Yep.
This is what's actually happening. And most importantly, attach your log. Then most of that work is done for me. And,
Right.
it's a much better chance that I'm going to be able to hop in for a few minutes, see, oh yeah, yeah, there's your problem,
Right.
or yeah, it is broken. You're going to have to wait until we fix it, right?
And really, it's no different than any other area of our life, right? You
Exactly.
can't go to the doctor and say, well, I have a cough, and expect them to diagnose you with pneumonia, right? Or you can't go to the mechanic and say, well, I hear the squeaky sound and that's it,
So
and
those are the
expect an outcome.
exact examples that I use. Yes, you wouldn't go to a doctor and say, please perform surgery on me. I'm not telling you what the problem is.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yes, please, when you go to either the unofficial website, there's a support channel there where you can post issues that you're having. But yes, please provide information. So again, the key things that I like to see is, what's the problem?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think should happen, and what actually happened?
Mm.
And then attaching your logs.
Mm.
And the reason why what should happen and what actually happens is important is sometimes you get users that haven't really read the documentation, and
Mm-hmm.
they're expecting something to happen, but it's not supposed to. So, for example, a perfect example is the latest version of our plugin for custom minis is called Angel. The latest version of Angel creates its own menu where all of these custom minis and other things are found.
Okay.
It's no longer in the core library where it used to be with previous plugins. That's intentional. That tries to keep all that separate so there's less chance of it all dying when there's a bouncy rock update.
Mm.
But I got a user that was telling me, I've opened up the Tailspire menu and I don't see my asset there. Right. So if they, in their support, if they write, I'm looking inside the Tailspire library and I don't see my asset there, I immediately can say, oh yeah, it's not there. It's now in the other menu, right?
Okay.
But if they don't write that, I have to go trying to figure out why they're not seeing their asset, and I'm going to be looking in the proper menu, right? And
Mm-hmm.
unless the logs tell me, then it's going to be harder to. So yes, the point is provide as much information as you can because that is going to help me get your problem resolved.
Yeah, that makes total sense. For me, it was, I don't know why. I mean, when you explain it now, I mean, it immediately clicked. But I think what for me the barrier was one, probably just taking the time, like you said, how many people just don't read it. I think that was me. Uh, but you really are asking for very basic information. Now the log, admittingly, unless I'm walked through and I know how to do that, that's going to be a little bit trickier to find. But even the other basic information, like what did I expect and what did it do?
Yeah, yeah.
So
And
that's
again, like if there'll be users that will find the looking through the log themselves overwhelming,
mm-hmm.
but at least then learn to get the log so you
Yep.
can provide it to me, right? Because the the best tool that we have to diagnosing the problem is the log.
Right.
That's actually another point that I wanted to make is some users will take like a screenshot of the error message that shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't do that because we need to see all of the information around what happened, right?
Right.
Sometimes, yes, the error message might be enough to clue me in, but the other stuff in the log that really helps to narrow it down, right?
Right.
So the log is always better than just a snapshot of the error message.
Absolutely.
Now, one other thing that I should mention, um, most of the plugins that we have configurable parameters that you can get edit through. You can do it manually, but the easiest way is to edit it through R2 Modman.
Okay.
And
Oh yes. Um,
I can show you how to do that.
I use a board swap. Would that be an example of what you're talking about? So I can click a
No,
button
no, no.
on
I no what
something
I
else.
what yeah.
Okay.
Um, I'll continue with why I'm mentioning it.
Yep.
And the reason I'm mentioning it is most plugins have a, uh, it's usually called the diagnostic level.
Mm.
And by default, they're set to info, which basically means put just minimal information into the logs.
Okay.
If you have a problem with a plugin, what you really should do is go again. I'll walk you through how to do that. But basically, set the plugin diagnostic level to something like debug or trace.
Okay.
Then fire up Tailspire, do whatever it is that you're attempting to do, and exit out as quickly as possible. What that does is when you switch the diagnostic level high, it puts a lot more logs into the logs. And by starting Tailspire over again, you're going to start a new log file. So you get the log for just what you're trying to do, right?
And not the whole session, but just that.
Exactly. Yeah. So like if you've just played a 2-hour session and you give that log to me, it's going to be first huge for you to give it to me,
Yes.
but it's also going to be so much information for me to sift through, right?
Yes.
Whereas if you restart your session, try to do what you're trying to do and get out quickly, that log is going to be much smaller, just pertaining to what you're trying to do.
Right.
And then at the end of that, though, don't forget to then set your diagnostic level back to, again, info or none if you want, because if you keep it on, it's just going to fill your logs really, really quickly.
Right.
So I can show you that.
Okay.
Well, okay, your
So I'll go wherever you direct me. I just simply
Oh.
I opened up the modded view because I knew that it would create an
okay.
error.
So if you go to your R2 Modman,
Yep.
you bring up that one.
Yep. Let's see right here.
Yep. And then on the left-hand side, you can see config editor right there. Yeah.
Yep.
So this is going to list all the configuration files. It also, I think, lists licenses, but we're interested in the configuration files. And let's look up something like, do a search for Angel. Oh, you don't have Angel installed. What plugins do you have installed? Pick a Lord Ashes one.
All right.
Character view. Sure, character view sounds good.
Character view.
Yeah. Okay, so if we click on that one and do edit config, what kind of configurations does it have? So the other thing that most plugins have is if they can be activated by keyboard, they'll usually have a binding so that you can change the keyboard keys that trigger it. That's really important because there's so many plugins, and it's hard to keep them all on separate keys.
Yes.
Not only that, but not all key combinations work. So there's a good chance, especially when there's multiple content developers, that you're going to overlap on a key, right? So this allows you to reassign those keys.
So if they overlap, will it actually stop it from functioning? Because there's two.
It'll do both.
Okay.
All right. At least usually it'll do both.
Yeah. Okay.
You've got like 3 plugins tied to F10 and hit F10. It'll do all 3 of those things.
Oh, that could be fun. Okay.
In some cases, you could actually do that, like use that to your advantage when you want multiple things triggered on a single key.
Yep.
But in most cases, it's just confusing.
Right.
Yeah. So here we can see that there's a whole bunch of settings for different things, different functions that you're doing in the character view.
Yep.
Can you scroll down to the bottom, see if there is a diagnostic one?
That's all the way down.
That is okay. So probably this we happen to have picked one that doesn't have a configurable diagnostic. Okay. Cancel out of this.
Okay.
And do you have asset data there? Yeah. The first one right there. If you pick that one off. So this one will definitely, yeah. So you can see that there's a diagnostic setting. It's right now set to info. That just basically means it does put some stuff into the logs, but only really the high level stuff. So if you were having a problem with this plugin, you would go down and set it to either debug or trace. Okay. Usually debug is good enough, but trace is kind of the highest, absolutely highest level. And again, that's going to give you a lot more information in the logs,
Hmm.
but don't keep it on that, because if you normally keep it on that, your log is going to fill really quickly.
Okay.
And also it'll lead to performance issues because
It's
you're just
collecting
dumping
too
a whole
much.
bunch of
Yeah.
stuff into the log all the time.
Yep.
Um, so I think that's really the key things about diagnosing your plugin issues is,
Okay.
again, um, try to provide as much information as you can when asking for help. Learn to get your log file and include it. But again, before generating your log, set whatever plugin you're testing. And again, you're like when you're trying to get the diagnostic information or the logs, um, don't set all of your plugins to debug, right?
Hmm.
You just whatever plugin you believe is causing the problem, that's the
Right.
one you set
Well, just like
to,
you said, if I download 25 of them, right,
right.
I don't know where the problem lies. But if I try to debug or trace 25 of them, I'm in the same mess.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Because you're going to have so much information that it's going to be, again, hard to go through. Yeah. So again, before you get your logs, set your diagnostics to debug or trace.
Mm-hmm.
Go in there, do whatever it is that you're trying to do. Get out, set your diagnostic level back to info, and then you can attach that uh, to the support post that you're making,
Yep.
and that will help us to tell you whether or not it's a problem on your side or if it's a problem with the plugin itself.
Right. Okay.
Um,
So there's actually a
yeah,
real benefit to the relationship that, for example, user and creator, right, is when I give this information back, you can see, well, it did something in your plugin, did something break,
yeah,
right? And there's a
absolutely.
benefit to you there because we're using it all the time, and you get to see that. Or it's actually on our end or something where we just need to fix
Yeah,
something.
and yeah, and both of those situations occur,
Yep.
and you're absolutely correct. Like when I create a plugin,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a team, right? I'm just one guy that creates the plugin. So even like plugins that are supposed to, talk between two players,
Mm-hmm.
right? So even those are, I mean, I could do some limited testing with that, but they're hard to test because you need
Right.
more people involved, right?
Yep. Yep.
So lots of times I do get somebody else to help me, or sometimes if I'm pretty sure that it's working, I give it out there and let the people use it, and then yeah, if there's a problem, it's gotta get fixed.
Absolutely.
So yes, it's absolutely crucial that when I those logs, because those logs will tell me what's going on, and that way I can see whether or not it's something that I need to fix up, or if it's a misunderstanding on the user's part.
Absolutely. Awesome. So now where do we go from here? What should we do?
I don't know.
All right.
I've kind of given my
That's
my
the
my
whole.
spiel about diagnosing
All right. Well,
plugins. I think that's all I had kind of planned, but
okay. Can we bring it into a live scenario then
sure.
with this?
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what that is.
So,
Usually what the Gondor message means is that there's something on the board that um that Tailspire is no longer able to resolve.
mhm.
So um this is actually actually a good point. When you get an error like this, which this doesn't really tell us whether or not,
Right.
I mean, most likely it's a plugin issue, right? But we don't know that for sure. So, what we would normally want to do here
Hmm.
is, if you're not sure if a problem is a plugin problem or not, run a vanilla
Hmm.
um, Tailspire and see if the problem persists. If it does, then obviously it's a core problem, and
Okay.
then it should get reported to Bouncy Rock.
So it would seem like then, if I'm going to practice the skills, what do I
Yeah,
expect? I expect that when I open up the modded, that it
yeah,
works. When I test it by opening up vanilla, that's what I had up before, it
right.
works. I clicked OK on that on that warning, and now it's just sitting and spinning, and so it's
Right.
not. I can't even get into the modded, and we do have the little indicator in the top left, so that's what I'm noticing. What I
Okay.
expect and what I noticed.
All right. So when you though loaded the board in vanilla,
Yep,
can we do that one more time?
absolutely. So we're
Uh,
gonna.
'Cause, as I was saying, the Gondor message usually means that there's something on the board that it doesn't like.
Okay.
And if we load it in vanilla, we can have a look around the board to see if there's like any of the kind of the minis that look like ghosts or something
Oh
like that
yes. Yep.
appearing. And if we see those, we could try deleting those to see if we can get it kind of working again. But yes, the Gondor messages are kind of weird because they're not a like they could be caused by a plugin, but they're not a direct plugin problem, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're they're basically telling you that your board has somehow been corrupted.
Mm.
How that happened, we don't know. So yeah, if you open up that board, let's have a look. Let's see if we see anything weird.
And so I've been in here the last week or so,
Yeah.
and I have not noticed anything. I know what you're talking about with the ghost
Right. Yeah.
minis. Let me go ahead and adjust something right quick. All right.
Yeah. There's nothing obvious.
Right. And with the other one, I can't even select the board. I can't even, as soon as I click, start modded,
Right.
I can't even then select board. Right. So back here, hopefully I'm understanding this right.
Yeah.
Right. I have vanilla or modded. If I
Right.
click vanilla, I can select my board that I want to open. If I select
Right.
modded, it doesn't even get to that point.
Like the board selection.
Yeah, so like you know how I just selected that one and it came up with this, right?
Yeah.
Well, if I exit out of here and let's
Yeah.
see, exit to desktop, just completely shut it down. Well, let's open up R2 again. And if I select, so that was vanilla. Now
Yeah.
it's going to load it again. And it'll bring up the Tailspire. It'll bring up
Yeah.
my board options. Unfortunately, I clicked that. I did not mean to click that just now. Although I suppose I could just... Where's my code? Oh, that works too. So now I get to here and I can select my board.
Right.
Well, with modded, let's exit.
Yeah.
Okay, and I select modded.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and throw this over there. We see all the wonderful red and yellow
All red.
that pops
That's
out.
okay. Okay. We'll have a look at that in the logs afterwards. Yeah.
Yep. So I don't even get to the board selection option because it should pop up with that Gondor message right now. Oh, maybe I.
Now the Gondor message
Oh,
usually is
it's
once
after.
you've selected a board to load.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll select this one again. This is the same one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, maybe it's something then on my. Oh, there it is.
Yeah. Air ID report to devs. Nice. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, and if you okay, it never loads, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So let's have a look at the log file.
So I need
Or-
to exit out of this, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So see that you're getting a whole bunch of red at the beginning. I am guessing that you're probably using some plugin that is broken,
Gotcha.
and that's causing this whole issue. Usually, plugins don't cause things to fail this badly, but well, apparently,
Something happened.
yeah, yeah. Because yeah, if you're able to load it in vanilla, that means that
I put
The-
something. Essentially, I put something there that's no longer working. It's breaking the system.
no,
No?
it's more likely that the like a plugin probably got broken by an update,
Well,
and
yeah. Okay.
because you're um because you're trying to use it, it's trying to access God knows what that probably isn't there anymore, and that's somehow corrupting the board.
Gotcha.
Because again, if the board loads in vanilla, that means the board is okay. If you were
Right.
getting if you were getting the same board problem in vanilla, then it would be a corrupted board.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
Okay.
let's have a look at that player.log file. It should be nice and short because we just loaded very little. Okay, so let's have a look at. So the other thing that I like to do uh, in that list is search for loading space starting square bracket. That is a message that shows up where every time you load a plugin.
Loading space what?
Space and then the opening square bracket.
That one.
Yeah. Well, can't see it right now.
Oh, yeah. Fair point. That.
Yeah. Okay. So config manager. I don't know if that one's working right now. You got a whole bunch of stuff here. Max draw distance. I think
Am
that's
I able
working.
to?
I think that's working.
No, I'm not. Okay. I was hoping I could bold it in Notepad, but I can't.
Draw max distance. Radial UI plugin definitely is working. Okay, you're using RPC plugin. Okay. I tend to use chat service instead because I wrote it, but you know.
Hey, I am fair game to
Yeah.
transfer over to you. Plus, as you mentioned, with all the security things, it just might be. I'm not saying that they're unsecure by any means. Just that I know your stuff is, so I have no hesitation to say if you're like, yeah, use this one, I'm gonna use
Yeah.
Lord
So
Ash's products.
I will mention that most plugins,
Yep.
when they have when they have dependencies on other plugins,
Hmm.
it will load that automatically. So most plugins, for example, depend on file access plugin,
Yep.
and most plugins also depend on data access. Sorry, asset data plugin.
Right.
So if you download a plugin that needs those dependencies will get downloaded right away.
Mm-hmm.
But there is one exception, and it is a common one, so it's a common thing that comes up. The asset data plugin
Yep.
basically does two things. It does like the state storage for various customizations. So if you have like, I don't know, if you're using like the icons plugin, for example, and you've added icons to your mini, the asset data plugin is what remembers that and loads it back up when you start the next session.
Okay.
The other thing though that it does is it provides the communication between different players. So when one plugin needs to talk to the other players to get effects to happen there on their side,
Yep.
the asset data plugin is used for that.
Okay.
The asset data plugin uses what's called a message distributor to distribute that message. And because there are two valid, at least right now, there's two valid distributors,
Okay.
it doesn't download one automatically. It requires you to make that choice. And the two options are basically at the moment is chat service, which I wrote,
Okay.
and then there's the RPC plugin, which Hollow wrote.
Okay.
Either one of them work fine. The only thing that you need to make sure is all of the people that are playing with you needs to be using the same message distributor. Either one, but they all need to be on the same
one.
Because otherwise, if you start talking through chat service and the other side is expecting RPC, well,
Yes.
they're not gonna
It's not gonna connect.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that that's perfectly fine. What else do you got there? Asset data plugin, and we just mentioned that.
Yep.
Animate menu. I'm looking at some of these things. Oh, animate menu plugin. Oh my God, you've got so many plugins, and I half of them I don't even remember.
You know when you made that comment that some people, surely not me, just download plugins.
You didn't do that.
That's
did you?
never me. Now, to be fair, my board I just finished a 2.5 year campaign, and I had this little thing up in the upper left, the red icon.
Yeah.
I had that annoyingly probably for 6 months, but nothing bad was happening. Right? I know enough to not know enough, and then just recently in the last 2 weeks, what we're facing has what happened.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, sometimes plugins like sometimes the plugin will just not function, so it throws up the red X. But if it manages to confine itself to only its functionality, then you lose that functionality, but it doesn't necessarily affect anything else, right?
Right, right.
But but the opposite can also be true. You can have a plugin that doesn't work, and because of it, it just takes down everybody else, right?
Yep, yep.
Um, okay, so
So it looks like I have chat services and the other one. Is that what you're seeing here? Am I understanding that correctly?
yeah, you've got both of them.
Okay.
So if you'd actually go to the asset data configuration through R2 mod, you don't need to do that right now, but if you would, there's actually a configuration there that has like the order in which, if you have both of them, which one it should
Ah,
actually use. And it's
interesting.
usually configured like both of them are configured them in an order so that if you don't have one, it will grab the other one,
Mm.
right? But if you have both of them, that order dictates which one it's going to actually end up using.
So it's actually not problematic in this case to have them both. The system
No,
will
no,
recognize
no.
and pick one.
But then we've got right here. Okay, so oh my God. Well, there's your problem.
Well,
Okay,
I'm glad you could see
yes.
it.
So you can see about 3 lines down from where you are. There's a little bit of a stack trace there, starting with yeah, no, yeah, right there. So I'm just going down a little bit, and I can see that the very last line of that stack trace says custom asset library integration extension. So you see that? Like 5 lines down. No, one above that. No, up. One more up, two more up.
This one?
One more up, one more up.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the end of the stack trace.
Got
And
it. Okay, that
um,
makes sense now. Yep, I see what you're saying.
so it so it's telling me that you have the custom asset library plugin integration extension, which is a obsolete plugin.
Oh,
So that one is it may not resolve your problem, but definitely get rid of that one.
okay.
Okay. I can give you a little bit of background. So the plugin that has changed the most times is the plugin to bring in custom minis, right? Um, so we are on the 4th generation of plugin that for that purpose. I think one time out of all those, it was basically there was a Bouncy Rock update that was just changed so much that the plug like it would have been too much effort to try to resurrect the plugin, so we changed it. And in the other cases, it was just trying to um, uh, trying to bring more functionality in, making it more resilient.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, so um, the custom asset library plugin that was the previous generation, and it has now been replaced by Angel, which is asset navigation and general execution library. That's what it was. Yes, but known as Angel. So that's the plugin that we use now to add in custom content.
Okay.
And you definitely want to remove. So the previous version there was 2 parts to it. There was Calp and Calpy.
Okay.
Calp was kind of the core function, and then Calpy was adding on things like the animations and things like that. So both of those have now been marked as obsolete
Okay.
and have been replaced by Angel. That's okay. I was kind of surprised that that when we were looking through the R2 mod man that you didn't have Angel there, because like if you want custom minis, that's the plugin that has
Yeah.
to be used nowadays.
All right. Well, I got that noted.
So that so yeah, so if you go into your R2 mod map, I mean we can fix that up right now if you want.
Okay. Yeah,
If you
let's
go
do
into your
that.
R2 Modman, let's uninstall that one, and you can install Angel.
So we're looking for.
So go to installed. On the right hand side,
Yes,
there's
that's
a
right. Yep.
installed. Yeah. Now just find Kelpie right there. It's near the bottom.
This one.
Yeah. And uninstall. Yeah. Uninstall.
Does
Oh,
it?
sorry. No,
Okay.
no, 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 no. That was
The other one
GMA.
already went
You
away,
might,
right? Yeah.
you might still be using that for something. But there's also Kelp. Yeah. Custom asset library plugin. So you want to get rid of that one too. Two down from where your pointer is.
1, 2, right here.
No.
Custom assets library.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
And on install.
And the replacement is if you go either through the website or through the online, it's Angel. Oh, right. Yeah, was it? Yeah, right there.
All right. And then download.
Yeah.
And download with
And
dependencies.
I mentioned it. Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, but I'm gonna mention it again. The Angel plugin does not add your assets to the core Tailspire menu.
Okay.
There is now it's a menu that looks very similar. It's got kind of a similar look and feel, but it's designed for basically that's the new menu that has all your custom content. So there's basically a bunch of plugins which have kind of the CCM extension, and those are all plugins that add to this custom menu, so that basically you find all of your custom apps in that menu.
Oh, perfect.
I think by default when you run with Angel, it'll open that menu up, but there's a setting for you to be able to choose whether you want that to automatically go away or not.
Okay.
And the default key for it is the home key, but again, it's configurable, so you can switch that to whatever you want.
Okay. Now, if I was doing this by myself,
Yes.
right, and I saw that was in there, I saw that stack, I saw the fail, I said, okay, well, I need to remove this. At this point, I would then restart Tailspire and see if it works, right? Testing one at a time.
Yeah, like when you're adding and removing plugins, you should be doing that while Tailspire is off.
Right.
I think if you're like adding plugins, you could probably do that while it's on, but they won't take effect until you anyways.
Yep.
Removing plugins while Tailspire is running is definitely not a thing to do.
Okay, good to know.
Just cause all kinds of it probably won't let you, but don't try it just in
Don't
case.
try it. All right.
Yeah. That also does though bring up one other point.
Okay.
And if you go to the unofficial Tailspire Discord,
Yep.
or if you go to my Discord, I'll send you an invite later so you can share it with your viewers. Both of those have a under support. They have a plugin status. The one on my server is more up to date because I keep that one up to date. The one on the Discord, unofficial Discord, is mostly now starting to be out of date because nobody's managing it anymore.
And you said yours is the modded one. Modding? Or that's the other one.
Right. So there's the official Tailspire one. I think that was the bouncy rock one, right?
I have that one.
Then there is the unofficial modded. Sorry, unofficial Tailspire modding. That's the unofficial.
That's yours.
No.
Okay.
That's I am one of the administrators on that.
Okay.
And that's all that we used to have before. So that's where the community was. Then, like I said, I created my own Discord specifically for plugins. I mean, you can ask other stuff there too, but it's mostly geared for plugins.
Yep.
And I can, like I said, I can send you the invite for that.
Gotcha.
But both of those, my site and the unofficial Discord, Tailspire Discord, have in the support section, they have plugin status.
Mm,
I'm just saying that if you go to mine, it's going to be more up to date.
for sure.
But
Okay.
that's for example, if you would go there, you would see that the Calp and Calpy plugin that you just
Mm,
removed are shown there as being obsolete and not aren't going to be resurrected.
gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, so that's another good thing to note is if you have a problem with the plugin, check the status to see if it's already a known problem. If it's a known
Mm,
problem, then you don't really need to open up a support ticket because it's already being worked on.
right.
But if it hasn't been noted as broken, then definitely open up the ticket, and then like I said, somebody will have a look and either tell you what the problem is, how to
Mm,
fix it,
mm,
or they'll conclude that yes, it's a broken plugin that needs to be fixed.
gotcha. Okay. Awesome. So at this point now we've identified one that you know for sure that one was
Yeah.
it needed to go. We replaced it. Should we continue looking through the log? And for like I said, for me
I
myself,
mean, I
I would
mean, I
I'd have
I would I would right now run and see if you're getting those red flags there because I know that Calpy definitely Calp and Calpy would have
done.
caused that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not saying that there isn't any other
Right.
plugins that are still causing that, but I'd run and see what happens.
All right. So everything is closed. Log is closed. Just gonna kick it back off then. That's
And
what it
so,
does.
speaking about the plugins that you have installed, are you using all of them?
That's a good question. And if I was to venture where you're going with that, if I'm not using it, then I should just lose it, right?
Correct. Because I mean, any plugin that you have, even if it's really not doing anything,
Yep.
there is overhead for each of the plugins,
Right.
right?
Right.
So um, usually having just the plugins that you need is the best way to go because um, that way you're not losing performance for
Yep.
plugins that you're using,
Yep.
and B, you're also lowering the chance that something's going to break because there's less plugins to break, right?
Yep.
You The worst thing is when you have a plugin that you're not using and that breaks
Oh.
out because it's not working, right?
Oh my.
Okay, so our gone door is not gone yet. So let's go back to the logs again
Okay.
and let's have a look and let's dig further. Um, yeah, so I would um, like if we go right now to R2 Modman, would you be able to tell me which plugins you are actively using? So, like,
I
could
might
could,
be able to.
could we prune it right now?
We can take a shot at it. I only have 39 of them. I can't imagine that I'm using them all. Um.
So, Bepinex and the set injection flag
Yep.
plug, those are to get modding working. Those are
Okay.
good to
I
get
need
working.
those.
So you want those. Camera tools.
Unless I'm inadvertently using it, not that I'm consciously clicking something that is using it. No.
Okay, so we can probably get rid of that
All right.
because
I
I
need
mean,
this one, right?
file access plugin you definitely need, yes.
Yep.
Um, config editor, you probably don't need. It's config editor is for being able to change some settings while you're running.
Oh. Okay.
Um, so I
Then I'm
don't
definitely
think,
not using that one.
yeah, so I don't think you're using config editor or config manager.
Okay.
Oh, um, so it looks like max draw distance plugin is uses config manager. Okay. So are you using the max draw distance plugin? That one you might be. That kind of extends how far you can see.
I
Um,
might be, but
okay,
I'm
so
also not opposed to
well, keep
taking it
keep them
out
for
and
now.
seeing what happens. We can
Right.
keep it too.
Let's keep them in right now, and then
Okay.
we'll get radio plugin. You're
Yeah.
probably using, and
Yep.
it works fine. Asset data you're definitely using. Um, animate menu plugin. I don't think you're using that.
May I ask, being you created it, what would I be doing if I was using it?
I've got a feeling that that's a dependency plugin that no plugin actually makes use of. But you know what? Why don't why don't you pull up the uh,
The log?
tailspire.thunderstorm.io and
Oh,
let's look at
okay.
the documentation.
All right. And we were
There's
looking
a
up.
lot of plugins, so I don't remember what all of them do.
And the name of that one again was Animate Menu
Animate
Plugin.
menu plugin. Try putting it all together.
Hmm.
Okay,
There we go.
click on that. What does it tell us? What does it do? Just scroll down to the description. No, yeah. Unofficial plugin for triggering animations from the radial menu. Animations are detected or specified configuration file by board asset ID. Okay, so no, it isn't a dependency ish thing. It's if you want to be able to trigger your animation, like normally your animations are triggered by keyboard.
Hmm.
This allows you to trigger animations by right clicking and selecting it from
Yep.
menu. Do you actually use any animated minis?
Not yet.
Okay, so then you're
So we can just
probably
get rid of
not
that one.
using this one. Yeah.
All right.
You can get rid of it for now. If you ever start using
Then I can
animated
always
mini,
bring it
you
back.
can always revisit. Yeah.
All right.
GM menu plugin is a dependency plugin. You might be using something that uses it. Can hit to uninstall and see, like, don't accept it. Okay.
Right.
So it's tied to Light plugin, and I presume you are actually using Light
Yes.
plugin, right?
Yep.
Okay, so then abort that.
That one I can tell you I'm using.
Yeah.
And that's right there.
Yeah. Okay, so that's good. Extra asset registration plugin. So a little bit of background for this one. This is actually the name of the second generation plugin for custom content.
Okay.
So you definitely don't need that. But what this is, um, when we had that plugin, it was affectionately known as EAR, a lot of content creators, when they created asset packs,
Mm-hmm.
they put that plugin as a requirement.
Mm.
So the problem then went when we moved on to the next plugin, all of those asset packs couldn't be used because they were a dependency.
Yep.
So what this is it's basically it's just a stub. It's a plugin that does absolutely nothing except it satisfies the requirement that you have that plugin, right? So you'll see it in the logs. It says like this does nothing. It's just there to meet requirements. So that way that's kind of how we got around it. And now again, the problem is because it's like a open community, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't force anybody to follow
Right.
the guidelines that we set forth, right?
Right.
So we right now recommend that anytime you're making Thunderstore / Angel content,
Mm-hmm.
that you do not put a plugin as your prerequisite or as a requirement, so that if it changes, it's not going to break your asset pack.
Right.
So that's the convention. But again,
Right.
who knows? Some people will still put in the a plugin as a prerequisite, and there's not much we can do about that.
Right. Right.
So, anyways, having that one is okay because it doesn't do anything. It's just going to make sure that you can get those asset packs if you wanted to.
Okay.
Okay. Then you've got like the Golem pack. All of these, like, well, if it's not a plugin, we call it an asset pack.
Okay.
Asset packs will, like 99.9% of the time, asset packs will not be a problem because an asset pack on itself doesn't, on its own, doesn't do anything. It's
Right.
just, it's like a mini, but nothing uses an asset pack unless you have a plugin, right? So
Right.
that's where like Angel comes in.
Yep.
So you downloaded these asset packs on their own. If you didn't have Angel, they'd be completely useless because they'd be there, but nothing would use it.
Couldn't use it. Yep.
Angel is then what grabs those asset packs and puts them in a menu and allows you to spawn them. So like your Golem pack, your Dragon pack there, those are perfectly fine. Um, the audio plugin, um, that also is, I believe, broken at the moment. It has been replaced by audio plugin CCM, which is like the um, as I said, it's the custom menu version, right?
Gotcha.
So I would get rid of audio plugin and I'd install audio plugin CCM instead.
Now I do get this, but I can just audio.
Yeah, you're gonna have to download it
Yep.
because same thing.
Yep.
That audio pack shouldn't have bit had this plugin as a prerequisite.
And that was
There's also a option. The a user by the name of Creedith or something like that, if I
okay.
remember, has like a little website where you can point at a folder on your computer of music, and it'll package it up so that you can just drop it into your Tailspire. You don't need a plugin whatsoever. It'll just show up like regular Tailspire content. So actually, that's even though the audio plugin is great, and my my software,
Yeah.
the Krita solution actually is kind of the better one because
Huh.
it means it works in vanilla Tailspire.
Mm.
And again, because it's kind of mimicking as if the content was Tailspire content, port content, it's less likely to break, right? Because there's no plugin
Mm.
that's so that's an option. And again, that's if you go to the unofficial Discord, somewhere in the tutorials, there's a
How to?
post. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's a video. I think that if I remember correctly, the video is in Spanish, but it's um, like it's
But
pretty
there's
easy to
pictures too.
follow. Yeah, yeah, video of what he's doing, so you can you can figure it out. But yes, okay, yeah. So grab the audio CCM plugin. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what else do we have?
Let's see,
Um,
man. Yeah, that's so.
so board swap. I think board swap works.
Nope. I haven't
North
used
Link.
it in a while, but I used to use it a lot, and it was super. That was awesome when that got introduced to me. The
I
morph,
think.
I know the morph works.
Oh, it does?
Yep.
Okay. That's
Also great. I've more
I
than once I've played with a druid, right? That changes from a
yeah.
humanoid to an animal, and it just
How recently though did you use it?
last Tuesday for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's oh I know. Yeah, okay. That's morphing through the core um
If it's the same thing
uh
I'm thinking of, it's where I take the mini and then I can
yeah,
change it into another mini.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yep. That one works.
Okay. Then we got a whole bunch of contact packs. Uh
That's a pack
yep.
plug-in.
Fifth element. Yeah, yeah, that was my pack. Fast kill. I hope fast kill still works. Um,
I think it probably does. It's deleted using a quick key. I just don't think I have it set up, or I don't know what the preset hotkey is for that one.
it's delete.
Well, then I don't know if it does. But we'll
Okay,
we'll try that one out.
sure. Yeah,
I user error is high likelihood on my part, so
yeah.
I'm
It
willing to
it should
admit that.
it should be if you click the mini and then hit delete
Delete,
as
right?
having to open up the right
Yep.
menu.
I'd love for that to
So,
work. So I hope that's just me.
okay. No flying base plugin. Don't haven't used that one in ages. Don't know about that one.
Okay.
Login plugin definitely works. Chat service definitely works. RPC plugin, as far as I know, works.
Chat plugin.
Turn timer. I I haven't tried it in a long time, but don't those I don't think it I don't think it has
Now
any issues that I'm
to
aware
your
of.
point though, I don't use it.
All right, so then if you don't use it, then get rid of it. Uh, did the RPC have any prerequisites? If you try to
Um,
uninstall it, what is
RPC
the thing? Yeah.
did not.
Okay. Um, do you use Room View plugin?
Hide reveal. Is it just about using the hide and reveal? Because I use that.
It's it it basically automates that.
Oh,
So
what?
like you can set up if you set up a bunch of rooms that have
Yeah,
high volume on them, this plugin will like when you're
just automatically make it appear when you step into it.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't, but I sure will.
um
I would definitely use that one.
I'm
Yes.
I'm not sure. Hold on, give me one sec. I want to see because I think somebody reported that one as broken. So let me just double check. If I go to my own website and plugin status. No, no, room view is at least for now it's still listed as okay.
All right.
I mean that that doesn't mean it is.
I hear you. I hear you.
It just means that the last status we had was yes.
Yep.
Okay. Gravity plugin that allows you to turn off falling.
All right.
Do you use it?
I don't. I'm trying to think if I would.
What that's most useful is like if you, for example, have like let's say a big sailing ship, right?
Hmm.
Which is an asset, but Tailspire assets aren't solid, right? It's only
Right.
tiles that are solid, right? So if you have something like that, you can basically use the gravity plugin to turn off falling, and then you could place the minis on top of the deck of the ship,
Oh,
and
I
they would
see.
fall through.
Gotcha. So no,
Or
I
same
don't.
thing,
I don't use
same
that.
thing for vehicles like carts and things like that.
Yep. So I can go ahead
Okay.
and I'll remove that one. There we go.
Custom, common custom menus plugin. Definitely, you need that.
Okay.
That creates that whole menu for all those CCM plugins.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, Asset navigation general execution library plugin. That's Angel. You
Yep.
definitely want that because that's going to give you your custom minis
Yep.
for all
And
those
then this is the
packs.
last one here.
That's the one. Okay, so that I think that should be good.
Okay.
So let's try to fire up your Tailspire.
And we're doing it in modded, right? Because that's where the
Yep.
issue's been.
Yes. Modded.
Yeah. And we are coming close to the 7 o'clock hour here. I do, Ashes. I want to say thank you as we continue through these other steps. Um, just you taking your time to sit down with us, go through this stuff.
No
This
problem.
video will be on our YouTube channel as well. So that way we can continue to make it a resource to. Um,
Did that
hey,
just load?
it just loaded.
It loaded.
That way we can make it a resource to everyone else that uh,
That's
tunes
that's
in.
the
And this is
sorry.
that menu you're talking
That's
about.
the CTM menu. You could probably close it by hitting your home key. No,
Home key, not Windows key.
no, like the one beside insert and page up.
Insert page up.
If
Mine's
you
not
got
labeled, so maybe this one.
home
Not
and
that one.
no, like home and
Oh,
you have the keyboard.
I see it now.
Yeah, there you go.
I actually have never used that button before in my life.
Well, there you go. That's exactly why plugins use it because it usually doesn't have much meaning in a lot of software, right?
Yes.
Because the problem is like a lot of the keys on the keyboard have Tailspire assigned functionality, right? So like
Yep.
AS uh, W AS D moves around, L turns on lights, and B goes into build mode. So those
Mm-hmm.
keys that you can't really use because otherwise they'll trip both functionalities, right?
Now, I do notice.
Yep.
So I still have this. This looks like it's just a core function for Tailspire. Oh, there's my
Yes.
unique
I
features.
have absolutely no idea what all that new funky stuff does. I still need to find.
Oh,
I still need
it's
to
wonderful.
play with that myself. Yeah.
That's actually what I was going over at the beginning because this is actually a board that I'm building for a one shot,
Hmm.
and that's actually one of the things I was going. It's just it's another version of hide, so
Oh.
it's a player view of what they can see from their controlled character.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Uh,
that just means you don't need room view anymore.
well, and so I'm curious about that though because here, right? So in the DM view, so I run my game in the DM view,
Yeah.
just like you are right now. That's
Yeah.
exactly how we run our streams, right? Which
Oh, okay.
means the players aren't playing from their own Tailspire license.
Right.
They're watching it just like you are with
Yep.
the Video Ninja. Well, that means they would see all this gray.
Yes.
Your
Do you know
hide
what?
view, though, would not show that.
Yes. That's well. Um, no, because
I
like,
would still have to go into the tab function and then reveal it.
well, yeah. So with it works just like a high volume. So yes, your
Okay.
high volume would disappear unless you're going into the GM mode, right?
Right.
But there's actually a way around that.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but um, I mean, sorry, it depends on the power of your computer.
Okay.
But
Fair.
you can run legally two instances of Tailspire on the same machine.
Okay.
Um, they both need to use like the same username.
Okay.
But what you can do is then you can use one of those for the window that you're actually streaming to your
Mm.
players. And
Mm-hmm.
then the other one, you can switch to GM mode and do all
Oh.
the stuff because they don't see that one, right?
Oh, that's very interesting. I had never thought about that. I didn't even think about if it was possible. I just never even conceived the idea.
Right.
But you have a player view and a GM view, and you're just
Yep.
dictating from the GM view.
And there's a I don't know if it's still working because I made that a long time ago, but there is a um, Stream View plugin
Okay.
that, if I remember correctly, it I think it allows you to like trigger cuts like the cutscenes
Okay.
on that other instance without you having to swap over to it. So from your DM from your DM instance, you can use
Yep.
Stream View to basically force
The other
uh,
one.
the other one to do like cutscenes and things like that.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
I I think even I think it had function again. It was a long time since I used it. But I think it had functions like if your player was using their own um, instance,
Mm-hmm.
you could send a cutscene to specific players.
Oh.
So that way, like if you wanted, if some player runs ahead and sees something that the others don't, you can do a cutscene for them and
Yep.
not to the other players.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. The first instance would definitely be useful for us on our stream, because both uh, you've noticed. I don't know if you noticed in the chat, but the name Vantalord. So Tom is the other person that runs the games with me,
Right.
as far as GMing them or DMing them. So we run in this model. So like I said, the other players they don't have their own. They don't
Right.
have their own. But so
Yep.
that first instance that you're talking about with the two running
Yep.
at the same time, that is very interesting. Very interesting.
And what about, have you looked at the remote control plugin?
Nope.
Okay.
What is
The
this
remote control
genius?
plugin is also a lovely thing if you're doing this kind of streaming,
Okay.
because what it allows you to do is there's two versions of it. Um, Both of them use the kind of same plugin, but two controls to it. One is a Windows app, and the other one is like a web-based version. But it doesn't really it doesn't have to be hosted. You could run it still locally, like just an HTML file.
Okay.
And basically, what it allows you to do is it allows you to have very limited, but control to somebody else's Tailspire.
Hmm.
For example, you can have your players have the remote control to hooked up like you basically select the name of the character that you want to be able to move and things
Yep.
like that. So that way you can be streaming a view for them, but they could on their turn use the remote control to actually move their characters, for
Even
example.
though they don't have their own setup.
Correct. It's basically you're running the plugin on your end to
Yep.
accept commands from their little
Is that the
control.
same kind of remote control like when I've had IT help and they remote control
Um,
into my computer? Kind of same, but not the same.
it's the same kind of idea,
Yeah.
but this is like purely customized for this
For this.
specific. Yeah. So
Oh.
you're able to uh, move the character. You're able to move the camera,
Hmm.
uh, send chat messages to chat, and I think if I remember correctly, there's also an option for like if you if you roll like for example with physical dice,
Yep.
you can send a like a dice obviously enter manually, but you can send basically a dice result to Tailspire. So if if I roll physical dice and I got a 15, I can write down that I rolled 15 and it'll
Yep.
show up in Tailspire like uh Tailspire get dice result, right?
Okay.
Um, and the nice thing is that if you're using the that uh, HTML version, it's very easy to like take out functions, right? So if you don't
Mm.
want your players, for example, to be able to move the camera, you want to do that for them.
Yep.
You just take that part out, give them the HTML um, with the remaining stuff, and then that function will disappear,
Oh,
right?
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that one that you also created?
yes.
And
There
that's
there was actually when I started, there was kind of a version of that somebody created, but by the time I started modding, it was already broken, not working. So then I just created my own version, and then kind of initially it was just kind of moving the character around. Then we added additional features like being able to move the camera and
yep.
what other stuff.
And
There's
that's remote control plugin.
yeah
And you mentioned the hide volume. What was the volume hide where you just walk into it and it
the room view.
room view? Oh, I think I had. I'll have to look back
Yeah,
into that
you
one.
had that one, but you weren't using it, so we took it off
Yeah.
for now.
All right. Perfect. Well,
Again, recently there was some plugin or like sorry BR updates,
yep.
so maybe those some of those plugins will not be working. If not, well you know what to do now, right?
Exactly. So, kind of as wrapping this up, I want to make sure that this is really in my mind, and then just a recap for anyone watching. If I run across a problem,
Yep,
and again, thank you for helping me walk through that because now
no
it
problem,
works again.
no problem.
But what I should be communicating to you would be what's the plugin? What did I expect it to do? What did it do? Then I would be finding my log file and taking that, copying that, and sending all that information to you so that you can then actually diagnose what the problem is.
Yes,
And
that
then when I'm troubleshooting, whether I'm troubleshooting prior to giving it to you or afterwards, well, one, I should only download one plugin at a time. Open, test, play, repeat. But the
mm-hmm.
same on the troubleshooting side. So we, even with you and me doing this together, we removed one, we closed. Well, we had the system, like you said, critically, the system is closed, the program's closed when removing files,
Right.
when removing plugins. But then we reload it and see if it worked. It didn't work, so we closed it again, uninstalled another one, loaded it again. And then we got to
Exactly.
the point where there's no red indicator, the board loaded, everything's good again.
Right.
So now we know that all the plugins that are currently there are good to go at the moment.
Right. That was a good recap. The only thing that you missed in that recap
Okay.
is when you're getting your logs, don't forget to go into
That's right.
R2 mod man,
Yep.
set diagnostic level to the debugger trace,
Yep.
get your logs, and then don't forget to set it back afterwards.
And thinking about that, we looked up which there's one you had me look up that was configure. What was the
The asset data.
asset data? Oh, I got to go into configure to do that.
Yeah,
Asset data.
yeah. You want the config, not the
This one.
license. Yeah,
Yeah, the top one. Yeah. And then I would go into edit.
yeah,
And then right here, this is where I change it. Trace is that highest level,
yes,
or looking for debug.
yeah,
And then when I'm not, like right now, I just have it in info.
yeah,
And that's my play mode, basically.
yes.
All right. Well, anything you want to say in wrapping up, whether definitely if you would send me those invites to the discords, I
Yeah,
would be
I will. I
happy to
will.
pass those out. Um,
I will be
anything
happy.
else that you would like to share, where people would, if it's a matter of finding you, contacting you, besides the servers? I don't know if you have like a YouTube channel or anything that you want to kind of plug at the
I
moment.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a tiny little YouTube channel where most of it is related to plugins, usually the demos or something like that.
Okay.
I would be happy to share that with you.
Yeah, please.
I've got I'll send you the invites to my um, uh, the plugin Discord.
Yep.
I do also have a little website that I'm self-hosting for donations. Again, all of my plugins are always free.
Yep.
But anybody who does want to donate is happy to happy to do that. Unfortunately, I just recently moved from Windows 10 to 11. Had had to reinstall my OS, and the one thing that I haven't gotten to yet is putting the certificates back onto my web server. So my web server is down at the moment.
Gotcha.
I will send links to that. Um, yeah, it was a pleasure to be here. And if you want, once you go digging through some of the plugins, if you want some more information on any of the plugins or want to discuss anything like that, I'm be happy to come back.
Absolutely. And again, I can't say it enough. I know that I've kind of worked at a distance with you and your plugins over the years. I used to work, I don't know if you remember, if you had any direct dealings with John or Blue Box RPG.
Um, I
Sounds
I
vaguely.
I was a guest on their
Yes.
at their place one session. Yes.
Yep. And so that's where I first got introduced to you. And since then, I mean, you can see a lot of the plugins are Lord Ashes. Um, and it's just, I can't recommend, I can, but I'll just be talking for a long time, recommending your content, recommending the support that you give, how you can even truly, I understand just enough. But yet you're able to communicate it so simply and clear, guide me through your patience with being able to walk through that stuff. I just super appreciate that. I super appreciate your time just to sit down for an hour and a half, and go through this stuff. Uh, and the joy that it seems to bring you. Like when you saw stuff pop up, I'd see your face light up and be like, that, yes, that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I didn't enjoy it, I wouldn't be doing it, right? Because
Absolutely.
I mean, there are people who have given donations. We do also have a bounty board.
Okay.
So like, if there's something that you want created in
Oh,
Tailspire, you can basically put up, it's basically like anybody can fill the bounty.
yeah.
So you basically put in a set of requirements. You put in, how much money you're willing to throw at it,
Okay.
and if people choose to fill it, they can do that. So I filled some of those,
Yeah.
but I'm sure that if I analyze the number of hours I've spent doing this as to how much money I've made from this, it would be like, I'd be working for pennies. But that's not the point, right?
Yeah.
I enjoy doing this,
Yep.
so I would do it even if you know, there was no donations,
Yeah.
because I enjoy doing it.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so that's why, yes, when I see things working, when I see my stuff being used, I think that's the other thing that I would, you know, mention is if people are using the plugins,
Hmm.
um, bring, mention, go say hi on Discord and mention the plugins that you're using, the ones
Mm,
that you know that you like. If there's stuff that you don't like about some plugin, mention that, because um, you know, I I sometimes, sometimes I come up with stuff on totally on my own, right? But lots of times I need guidance. If, I
mm,
might create something that I think is spectacular, but if nobody really has a use for it, I need to know that, because then
right.
I won't spend more time making it better. I'm just going to go on to something else, right?
Yep.
So I think that feedback, just, dropping by and saying, "Hey, I'm using your, room view plugin and it's great," or, "I'm using your room view plugin, but hey, I wonder if it could do this."
Right.
Something like that is great feedback, because that then tells me, yes, that plugin's being used, right? So
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's a ton of plugins that are just sitting there, and, nobody's really um, using them. In
Yeah.
which case, like, if there's a big VR update, I'm not going to bother updating them because nobody's using them,
Right.
right? So that feedback, I think, is very good to have.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah. So yeah, thank you
Yeah.
for having me. And
Absolutely.
like I said, let's hopefully we'll do something again sometime soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to say it one more time as we get ready to raid into. I'm not sure if you're a fan of mini painting. I know we have the digital minis here, but Art of Mike Disney is the guy. Like you, blow me away with technology and plugins. He blows me away with his painting skills. So just before we raid into him and give support over to his channel, again, Ash is just thank you again. Thank you for your support over the years. Thank you for your willingness to create these plugins, to be able to allow people like Tom and myself and so many other content creators to be able to provide this experience to the people we play games with. Um, it's kind of an odd phenomenon, right? We grow up with as kids with imaginations, uh, and I think real adulthood doesn't lose that touch. We grow up, we be adults, but we don't lose that touch of fun and interaction.
Absolutely.
So I'm just so thankful for you and other content creators that are willing to do this kind of thing. So again, thank you for your time, and I hope everyone out there that you have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening. Enjoy the change of the season and be well.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to